Morning. It certainly is a pleasure to be here near the great city of New York City. I wish I could see it. I can't imagine being in Fort Lee looking at the George Washington Bridge and not seeing New York City. But the Yanks won last night, so all's good, right? Tammy, thanks a lot for letting me go after Bob Bransfield. I mean, that was really nice of you. I appreciate that. I look around and I see some really special people here in the audience. Dr. Joe Burrascano, Dr. Charles Jones, Dr. Warren Levin, wife Susan. I'm sure there's people I don't know that I want to know, and if I've forgotten someone's name I do know, please accept my apologies. I had a nice ride up here yesterday, and I was all excited to get into the parking lot, and I had to wear a suit today, so I had my coat hanging up in the back, and I put my keys in a little cup between the front seats and I've got one tie, and I found it, and I come rushing into the hotel, and I'm getting ready to go to bed, and there's no car keys. I have never locked my car keys in my car before. I'm 57 years old. And I thought, Lord have mercy, this is like autism. Because I had all these wonderful theories on how I could get my keys out of the car. I had some antibiotics in my pocket, and I shook that on the car, and it didn't open. I put some cholestyramine on the car, it didn't open. I picked the car up, threw it because I was mad, it didn't open. Finally, AAA came to rescue, and a fella used a tool that I'd never seen and never thought about, and he opened my car door in 6 seconds. So maybe I can bring an opening of the car idea to this conference today by talking about my approach to medicine. Bob has given us some incredibly tantalizing ideas about particular kinds of antibodies. And I want you to know that antibody formation is a part of the immune response that we call acquired. And I'm not going to talk about that. To get an antibody, there must be an antigen, a foreign substance invading in the body that then is taken inside of a particular immune cell called a dendrite cell. And these professional antigen-presenting cells, these dendrites, will recognize an antigen. And that recognition leads to almost engulfment of this little bubble of a receptor and an antigen inside that cell. And inside that cell, a little molecule of my favorite substance, HLA-DR, is put on to this developing antigen complex. And it's processed. And this complex moves through those little tiny squiggly tunnels that we saw in chemistry and biology, the endoplasmic reticulum, and it pops out on the other side of the antigen-presenting cell. And now the T cells, the T lymphocytes, are looking for new antigen material. And they will then send out a little arm for this developing complex, and a T cell receptor links to this process that takes it into the naive T cell, where it's further processed, presented to another T cell to give a message to a B cell to make an antibody. That sounds kind of complex. I'm not going to talk about antibody formation. I'm going to talk about that very first step. I'm going to talk about innate immunity. And I'm going to talk about the importance of antigen recognition. That first step that I described on the professional antigen cell is one that we can't ignore. And when we look at complicated illnesses like Lyme, like the disease I wished would disappear, the word fibromyalgia, what nonsense. Chronic fatigue, my gracious sakes, let's have some definitions, boys. If we ignore innate immunity, we are ignoring to what I consider to be the vast importance of these illnesses. So when we talk about innate immune functions, as I'm going to do in a sec, if I can figure out how to run this thing. Arrow to the right. I'm going to talk about where I come from, which is looking at biotoxins.